Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So first off, if you're new, I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you like the video, and I hope that you continue to follow along from this video along with the rest of our journey to our baby. So starting off, today I am 15 weeks and 2 days pregnant with baby number 4. And that's exciting to say that I'm 15 weeks and I'm only less than 5 weeks away now from being halfway through this pregnancy. That is crazy to me to say that. I look back to when I was pregnant the first time, and that pregnancy seemed to take forever. So now that I'm in this pregnancy, it's just flying by. So let's jump right in. So weeks 13 and 14 didn't vary that much in difference from week 12. Week 12, I was saying that I was feeling great. The morning sickness was finally starting to slowly taper off some. But each week since then, I've been feeling better and better. So week 14, I finally hit my second trimester. So that was nice. That was exciting. The first trimester is behind me now. Thank you, God. Goodbye. I don't want to see you again. The morning sickness is pretty much gone. I have queasiness here and there, but it's usually if I wait too long to eat, or if I eat something that the baby doesn't like, or drink something the baby doesn't like, or if I eat too big of a meal, because now that I am 15 weeks, things are starting to get a little cramped in there, and I'm having less room in my stomach now, and things are slowing down as far as digestion goes. So if I eat too big of a meal, then if I eat too big of a meal, then it just takes forever to digest, it seems like, and I'm just miserable for a few hours. So yeah, so those are really the only times that I'm getting sick now. I was breaking out on my face pretty bad in the first trimester. I was getting, acne like around my chin, around my hairline. I was getting them around my ears, especially like up here and behind my ears. And there was once or twice that I even got 1 or 2 in my ears, like on the inside right here. I was like, what in the world? I never get zits around my ears or in my ears. So that was strange. So, so that's not happening anymore. My sense of smell has calmed down quite a bit. There were weeks when it was so heightened that, for example, my kids would be in the kitchen eating a bowl of cereal in the morning, like Fruit Loops or, Captain Crunch or whatever, and I would be in a completely different room and I could smell their bowl of cereal across the house. Like it was right under my face. It was crazy. And when you have a sense of smell that is that heightened, getting a whiff of something gross or that is a foul smell, it makes you want to vomit. Now that the morning sickness, though, has pretty much gone away, my appetite has come back. I'm hungry all the time, it seems like. Candy's starting to sound good to me, or I'll want like cheesy fries, or I'll want like a big greasy hamburger or cheeseburger from a fast food place, or something like that. Just something like that sounds so good every now and again. But for the most part, when I'm snacking, I'm trying to eat like carrot sticks and celery sticks and healthier cereals in the morning, like Cheerios with berries in it, or honey bunches of oats, or oatmeal, or something along those lines. Because in the morning, I definitely want to indulge in like pancakes with tons of syrup, and or like toaster strudels, or or like muffins, or bacon and eggs and sausage, and all the greasy stuff that you can usually get for breakfast. And another thing that I'm indulging in pretty often is the jars of these like little Snack-O kosher dill pickles. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't get enough of pickles right now during this pregnancy. I always have a jar of them in the fridge, cold and ready to go. And it was funny because a couple of days ago, I finished a jar and I was on my way to the kitchen to dump the juice so I could toss the jar. And I smelled the juice as I was carrying it to the kitchen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that smells so good. And I just started sipping the juice. It was so good. I didn't drink the whole jar, obviously, of juice because it was pretty tart. But I definitely enjoyed those few sips. So like sour things right now obviously are tasting so delicious to me. Really cheesy things. Like last night, Kurt and I went to Longhorn Steakhouse, and the first thing that I ordered was an appetizer, and it was their like Parmesan crusted cheese mushrooms, stuffed mushrooms. Oh my gosh, you guys, those are so good. They're about this big, each mushroom. It's about this big, and it's stuffed with like this Parmesan infused cheesy goodness. It's so good. And they brown the top of them, and so when it comes out, they're like sizzling. Oh. But I'm trying not to indulge too much in fatty foods. So I'm trying to eat like yogurt and carrots and celery and stuff, like I said, when I'm trying to snack in between meals. Moving on. So yes, so two days ago on Thursday, I had my 15-week prenatal appointment. My blood pressure was great. My urine looked good. They were going to do blood work to do, I think it's called the quad screen test, to where they check for Down syndrome and stuff in your blood work. But according to their charts, I wasn't 15 weeks until the following day on Friday. I don't know why they didn't update me until now, but they just told me yesterday, yeah, you're not 15 weeks until Fridays, or you're not another week over until Fridays. So she was like, we can go on and do the blood work today. She's like, but you know, you typically have to be between 15 and 20 weeks before we get a good reading on that. So she's like, we could go on and do it today since you're one day away from being 15 weeks, but if we get like a false reading, or I don't know, it was something along those lines of what she said, but she's like, we don't want you to have to come back and get poked twice. So I didn't mind that. I said, you know, that's fine, because for me, getting poked to get blood work sucks. I've got really small veins, and it is really hard to get blood work out of me. Sometimes I have to get poked 3, 4, 5 times before they can get a good vein. So it stinks and it hurts. So she's like, we're just going to have you come back in 3 weeks when you're 18 weeks, and we'll do that blood test, that blood test, and then she's like, we'll give you the paperwork to go and get your ultrasound for 20 weeks to do the anatomy scan. And also at 20 weeks, when I do the anatomy scan, I will finally find out what we're having. Sorry about that. So I'm really looking forward to finding out what we're having. You know, my motherly instinct tells me that this one is a boy. But I finally saw my doctor at that visit, and that was nice. I haven't seen him yet at all this pregnancy. He's usually out of the office or with another patient or something, so I didn't get to see him. But this time I saw him on Thursday, and it was funny. He delivered my last 2 babies, so he knows that I have 3 kids already. So when he came in, you know, he's like, good to see you, and I was like, good to see you too. And he looked at my chart, and he looked at me, and he goes, you're pregnant again? He didn't mean it mean. He was just being funny, but it was just the way he said it. He's like, you're pregnant again? I was like, yeah. He did go into detail about why, with my last pregnancy, after our daughter was born, we really thought we were done and I was going to get my tubes tied, but my OBGYN recommended that I don't do it because I had Crohn's disease. And I couldn't remember his exact reasoning for why, because I had forgotten over these last couple of years. So I just started, you know, trying other methods of contraceptive, but he reminded me again yesterday why. And because I have Crohn's disease, if I get a tubal done, the weight of my bowels and my intestines and all of that weighing on top of my uterus after getting a tubal done, with Crohn's you can sometimes get what's called fistulas that form, and they're like little pockets that would form, and sometimes they can rupture, and he said you would have the possibility of stool coming out into your abdomen. He's like, you could even have stool coming out of your vagina. He's like, so that's why we just don't recommend you going to get a tubal done. It's just, there's too many risks, especially with having Crohn's disease. So I was like, okay. It's very hereditary in my family, especially like all the women on my mom's side has Crohn's disease or some form of ulcerative colitis or IBS or something wrong with their stomachs. So yeah, I was also blessed with the disease. Yay. Anyways, so yeah, that was his reasoning of why he didn't want me to go and get a tubal done. And now that he's reminded me of it, I was like, yeah, I think Kurt's better off going and getting fixed instead of me. So he's probably going to schedule that appointment now. He's like, he can go on and do it now and get it done, because it takes 2 to 3 months before he starts shooting blanks. So he's like, you know, he can go on and do it now. By the time you give birth, you're past the 6 weeks postpartum and all that stuff. He's like, you guys can go right into having sex and not worry about getting pregnant ever again. So I was like, well. So I mentioned it to Kurt, and he was kind of like, oh, you know, but he's probably going to go and get it done soon. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then he checked the baby's heartbeat, and the baby's heartbeat was around the 150s. Around 154, I believe. So I want to say that that's pretty much it for this vlog. I will try my best to update you guys again next week at 16 weeks. I'm going to continue to probably gather things over these next several weeks before the baby comes. And each time that I get something new, or I'm interested in buying something that I haven't gotten yet, I will definitely share it with you. Excuse me. And one thing I forgot to mention in this video that I'm suffering from so much is indigestion. I've got indigestion 24/7. It never goes away. I wake up in the morning, the first thing I start doing is burping and hiccuping. It's terrible. I try to eat Tums, but it doesn't really help. So I don't know. It doesn't matter what I eat or drink. I mean, I drink water all day long, and even that makes me burp. So I don't know what's going on in there, but I got indigestion so bad this time. It's just constant. So anyhow, I will update you guys next week at 16 weeks. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I would love to get to know you and have you follow us along in this journey. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or if you have any recommendations for baby products that you used that work perfectly for you, feel free to comment and leave those in the box below. And I will talk to you guys next week. Okay, bye.